In 1937, the United States Army Air Force issued specifications for a new aircraft suitable for basic training, but with the controls, instruments and handling characteristics of current combat aircraft. It also had to be able to carry guns and bombs if necessary. North American offered a new design based on their existing NA-16, but greatly improved. Called the NA-26, it was powered by a Wasp engine driving a Hamilton Standard variable pitch propeller. It had a hydraulic system to power flaps and an inward-folding retractable landing gear. Later, a stress-skin fuselage, modified rudder and angular wingtips were added. The aircraft was accepted by the United States Army Air Force and went into production as the BC-1. In 1938, the Royal Air Force ordered several hundred BC-1s with a British instrument and radio fit. This aircraft became known as the Harvard Mk I, a name subsequently used by all Commonwealth countries except Australia, where it was called the Wirraway. In 1940, the United States Army Air Force changed its designation to AT-6, whilst the US Navy version was called the SNJ. From January 1940, 2,557 Harvard Mk IIBs were built in Canada for the Royal Canadian Air Force, Royal Air Force and United States Army Air Force, and from 1942, AT-6s were built in a new factory in Dallas and were called the Texan. After the war, Canadian Car and Foundry built the Harvard Mk IV. In all, some 21,342 aircraft of the NA-16 series were built. Many Harvards are now operated privately, so the characteristic growl generated by its huge propeller will be heard for many years to come. Harvards often appear on television and in films masquerading as various World War II combat aircraft, particularly the Japanese A6M0 fighter, to which, in the eyes of filmmakers, it bears a passing resemblance. G DDMV is probably one of the 691 airframes remanufactured in 1949 to T6G standard at Downey, Los Angeles, from existing T6 SNJ airframes originally built in 1943. The aircraft were delivered to the United States Air Force in 1951 and served as a primary trainer at various units until 1953. In 1954 it was sold to the Haitian Air Force, and it may have seen action in the abortive coup attempt in the late 1950s, armed with machine guns and bombs. By 1960 it was operating under civil registration in the USA and had a succession of private owners. In 1987 it was extensively reconditioned before being sold to the late Paul Morgan in the UK in 1990. Delta Aviation acquired the aircraft in 2005. Its UK registration mark is G DDMV. However, under a special exemption from the CAA, it carries military serial number 493209 and the markings and colour scheme of the California Air National Guard.